From the rain-soaked streets of a city that keeps its books in the dark, Callaway Bay Radio presents Endless Noir. Tonight, The Cold Slip.
The frost came in with her when she opened the door, and she stood in it a while before she'd sit. A dock woman, coat too thin for the season, twisting a child's wool mitten in her hands like it was the only warm thing left in the world. Trouble doesn't always come dressed for it. Sometimes it comes half frozen, holding a mitten. Take the chair by the radiator, Ruth. It complains, but it's warmer than the door. You came a long way in that coat. Start wherever it hurts least.
It's about the winch. Down at Pier 7 last week, the one that came down on Tom Kessler. The hall's calling it an accident. His own partner, they're saying. Careless with the brake. That's a lie, mister. I was there. I saw it.
Winches slip, Ruth. Cold weather, worn cable, a tired man. That's the story the hall likes because it's the story that doesn't cost anybody. What did you see that they didn't?
A hand on the brake. Not Tom's, not his partner's. The walking boss. The one who marks the call sheet at dawn. He backed it off, slow, while the whole crew found somewhere else to look. Tom wouldn't pay his cut to get his name kept on the list, so the list took him off itself.
A man loosens a brake and a widow ends up holding the mitten. I've heard uglier down by that harbor. A friend of mine used to know which stevedore sold which name before the coffee got cold, but I hadn't heard it said this plain, by somebody who'd have to say it twice to matter. If you saw it clean, you can say it clean. To the hall, to a man with a badge. That's a road, Ruth. It's not a pretty one, but it goes somewhere.
No, you don't understand. I say his name out loud, and my babies never get called to that gate again. Not me, not their uncle, nobody with my blood in them. I've got 2 of them home right now with 1 pair of mittens between them. Find me another way, please. One that doesn't take the morning call out of their mouths.
She wanted justice for her husband and breakfast for her children, and she'd come to me because nobody had ever told her you couldn't buy both with the same coin. She wouldn't swear to a word of it. She only wanted me to make the truth land somewhere it wouldn't land on her. Outside, the rain kept the harbor's secrets the way it always had. I had a witness who wouldn't be one. A dead man blamed for his own murder, and a road she'd already fenced off before I could take a step down it. The Chronicle's back room smelled of hot lead and cold coffee, and Flynn of the Chronicle was already elbow deep in the morgue drawer when I came in. A newsman's memory is filed in tin and yellow paper. He can lose your name and still remember which pier ate a man 2 winters back.
Don't sit down yet, you'll want to be standing for this. You asked me about a winch letting go on Pier 9, dropped load, crushed a docker, Hall calls it an accident and buries it by Thursday. Well, I've got a clipping. Same pier 2 winters back. Same story, near word for word.
2 winters back. That's a long time for a brake to wait to slip twice in the same spot.
It's not the brake that repeats, it's the name under it. Same walking boss signed off on both sheets, rules the whole thing accidental, sends the widow home, and the drum keeps turning. Once is bad luck, twice under one man is arithmetic.
Then somebody serviced that brake. Both times. There's a repair log for gear like that. Who touched it, when, and whether they touched it at all.
That's your thread, not mine. Pull it. But hear me before you walk out of here happy. I can't print any of it. A pattern in a drawer is just 2 clippings and a hunch. I need it said out loud by somebody breathing. Right now, all you've got is one frightened woman who hasn't said yes, and a paper doesn't go to war on a maybe.
He was right, and we both knew it. A dead man in a file doesn't testify. Frankie could have told me which winch house door to knock on without ever reading the sheet. But Frankie was under the L at low tide now, and the dead keep their own counsel. 2 accidents make a coincidence a clerk can sign. It takes a living voice, scared and willing to make the second one a crime. And the only voice I had was one that hadn't decided yet whether talking to me was worth the walk to the harbor. Ruth's flat was 2 rooms over the fish market, and the cold came up through the floor like it paid rent. The stove sat dark. The coal was measured out in a coffee can, and the can was mostly tin. Down the hall, 2 kids slept the way only kids can sleep in a room that cold. Through the wall, the foghorn kept its slow appointment with the harbor, and Ruth kept her hands folded on the table like she was holding them still on purpose.
You'll want to keep your coat on, mister. I don't light the stove till the little one wakes. Sit down. I'll tell you what they came and said, and then you can tell me I'm a fool for even weighing it.
I'm not in the business of calling widows fools, Ruth. Who came and what did they say?
2 of the crew off the gate. They stood right there where you're sitting, hats in their hands, real gentle about it. They said if I call it an accident, straight out, no questions to the hall, then the marker's gone. Wiped. That thing my Tom signed his name into at the Blue Room. The one I've been holding since they carried him up the ramp. And my name stays on the call list, so I keep working.
They're not paying you in dollars then.
No, it's the book. You've stood on the docks. You know how the men say the word, quiet, like it can hear them. Dollars I could turn down. I've turned down plenty. But that book had its hand around Tom's throat, and now it's offering to open the fingers for nothing but my silence. So I want you to say it to my face, that I'd be wrong to take it. Because I'm sitting here doing the sum, mister, and the sum keeps coming out the same. And I need somebody besides me to have said the word out loud before I do the thing I'm about to do.
She wanted absolution, and she'd come to the wrong church. I looked at the dark stove and the coffee can and the 2 small shapes down the hall, and I could see the arithmetic working behind her eyes the way it works behind every widow's eyes in January. Take the deal and the winter has a bottom. Cross the book and it doesn't. She wasn't asking me to change the sum. She was asking me to sign the answer so she wouldn't have to be the only name on it.
Friends, the night runs long in this town, and nobody knows it better than the man who works it. That's why night people reach for lamplight coffee. Slow roasted, honest, and strong enough to keep a fellow's eyes where they belong. Open. Lamplight, the cup that keeps the night shift honest. And now, the conclusion of the cold slip.
The pattern was there if you laid the accidents end to end. 3 men, 3 winners, the same break, the same shrug from the same company. I had it all but the last inch, and the last inch had a name. Ruth's name. I was halfway into my coat to go get it when Dale looked up from her desk like she already knew where I was headed.
You've got the coat half on, Sunshine, so let me guess the errand. You're going to sit in that woman's kitchen and tell her that keeping quiet is how she protects her kids. And you're going to call that mercy on the walk back.
It's her word that closes it, Dale. One sworn line. Without it, the break's just a busted break and a company that's sorry for her loss.
So the whole wall comes down to a widow being brave enough for you. That's the ask. You knock, she talks, and she's the only thing standing between a killer and the gate. Convenient how the bravest thing in the room is always somebody else's.
You want me to walk away from it?
No. I want you to answer the question you've been ducking all winter. What are you willing to spend so the truth stands up without her name being the only brick in it? You've spent everybody else's brave this year. Frankie's stool's been empty a while now. Spend some of your own.
She wasn't wrong. She's never once had the decency to be wrong. I'd been about to build a case out of one frightened woman and call the draft a breeze, so I hung the coat back up and got out the repair log instead. The tampered brake, the company's own ledger, the 2 men before Ruth's husband. Make it iron first. Make it so when she finally speaks, she's the last brick and not the whole wall, so she's not standing out there alone with only her nerve between her kids and the men who'd shut her up. Dead low tide, and the harbor pulled back off the mud like a sheet off something it didn't want found. Ruth stood at the end of the pier with her collar up against the cold, small and straight, the way a woman stands when she's already decided and hasn't told her knees yet. I had the 2 pins in my coat pocket. I'd come to show her they weren't just her word anymore. Ruth, look at these. This one came off the winch that took your husband. This one came off the rig that crushed Ackerman's hand 2 winters back. Same brake pin, both filed down the same way, both signed out to the same man's hand in the same logbook. That's not one bad morning. That's a pattern. Your word isn't a lone woman against a boss anymore. It's the thing that puts iron under everything the log already says.
And if I say nothing? The crew took up a collection. They'll clear the marker on our flat, they said, quiet, out of respect for a dead docker. My little ones eat all winter, and I don't have to stand in front of the commission and call a man a killer. That's what silence buys, mister. I've had it doing arithmetic at my kitchen table for 3 nights.
I know what it buys. I'm not going to tell you it's an easy thing. The pins make it true whether you speak or not. But the man from the commission is standing at the foot of the pier, and he can only write down what he hears out of your own mouth. I can't say it for you. Nobody can.
My husband hated a bought quiet. Wouldn't take a call slip he hadn't earned. Not even that last winter when we were hungry. If I take their collection, I bury the man twice. Once in the ground, and once in a lie about how he went. I won't feed my children on that. Tell your commission man I'm ready. I'll say it plain, and I'll say it once.
So she said it, named the hand that filed the pin, named the winch, named the morning. And the moment the words were out, the gate went quiet around her. The same men who'd passed a hat for her kids found something to look at out past the breakwater, anywhere but her face. She handed the crew's envelope back unopened and kept talking to the commission's pencil, steady, while they cuffed the tamperer and walked him off the mud. The tide hadn't turned yet, neither had she. Morning came up gray over the harbor, the way it always does after the paperwork's done. The man who'd filed the breakdown on that winch was in a cell by then, and the partner they'd hung it on walked out of the precinct with his name back and nothing else. That's the arithmetic of a good day in Callaway Bay. It never quite adds up to even.
Chronicles on your blotter, sunshine. Page 4, down in the corner where they bury the ones that turned out right. Winchman charged, partner cleared. They spelled both names correct, which for that paper is a miracle.
And the walking boss?
Not on page 4. Not on any page. Word came up from the hall an hour ago. He's running the North Pier now, the deep water one, for that respectable outfit with the office uptown. Better berth, cleaner coat. Cost him 1 soldier to read the wind right. Cost him nothing at all.
So that was the shape of it. He'd given up the small man the second the ground shifted, the way a smart operator sheds a wet coat, and stepped into a warmer one uptown. The break was no accident. The wrong man carried it a while, and the truth of who wanted those 2 dockers quiet got bought and paid for on a book nobody in this town will say out loud.
You want me to say it's a win? I'll say it. The widow got the accident cleared. Her husband's name is clean. She just doesn't get him back, and the marker he signed is still open on that book. Clean conscience, cold winter. That's what she bought, and that's what it bought her.
She'd left a mitten on my desk. A child's, wool, one of a pair, the kind a mother knits when the calling's steady and the pay comes in. She'd been twisting it in her hands the whole time she talked, and she forgot it going out. I sat there turning it over while the office went cold around me. I'd forgotten to feed the stove.
Put it in the drawer. She'll come back for it.
Maybe she would. But that small hand it belonged to, come the first cold morning, wouldn't hear its father's name called at the gate. Nobody's would, on that book. My breath hung in the room like something I owed. Frankie would have known which berth the boss bought and what it cost, down to the dollar. I didn't. I just sat there in the cold, holding a mitten too small to keep anybody warm. Rain again. In Callaway Bay, it's always coming down somewhere, on somebody who had it coming and somebody who didn't. The phone will ring soon enough. It always does.
Time, friends, is the one thing this city never gives back. The Calvert Watch Company builds 17 jewel movements that keep it to the second, through rain, rough handling, and late nights. Calvert, the second hand you can trust. And now our second feature, Dead Air.
The door with my name scraped off it swings free for anybody, and in January anybody is mostly the wind. But the woman who came in out of the cold that morning didn't come to get warm. She came in the way people come to church when they've already decided to sin, quiet and sorry about it in advance. She said her name was Marion Kell, and she sang on the Tuesday hour down at the radio station.
I won't waste your time, mister, so I'll say it flat. The station's got a new sponsor, and the sponsor's got a paper he wants me to sign.
Papers I can read. What's on it?
A statement that a man I work with, a good man, does the comedy spot before my number, has been dipping into the benefit fund. The orphans fund. The one we do the Christmas broadcast for. It isn't true. Or if it is, nobody can prove it, and I surely can't. But if I sign it, I keep my spot.
And if you don't sign?
Then Tuesday they hand my 15 minutes to somebody else, and my 2 kids learn what an empty icebox sounds like. Those are the 2 doors they gave me. Sign a lie and eat, or tell the truth and go hungry. I didn't come to be talked out of either one. I came to ask a man who's supposed to be clever. Is there a third door? One that isn't me selling somebody out.
2 doors. She'd counted them herself in the dark more times than once. What she wanted from me was a third, and I sat there in the cold, trying to remember if I'd ever found a single door the men with the money hadn't already built and bolted. The money behind the Tuesday hour used to be the kind you counted in a back room with the shades pulled. Now it had an office with its name on frosted glass and a civic seal on the wall. Paulie Marchetti had scrubbed up so respectable you could have served him at a christening. He didn't keep a gun on the desk anymore. He kept a seating chart.
Detective, sit. You're letting the cold in. You want coffee? No. Always business with you. That's all right. I respect the man who knows the hour.
I'm here about Marion Kell. Somebody's leaning on her to sign a lie.
Leaning? That's a hard word, and it ain't the right one. Nobody leans on nobody in my house. See, I don't tell a soul what to say. I wouldn't know how. All I ever do, is decide who's on the bill. That's the whole job, and a bill's only got so many minutes in it.
And the lie they want out of her clears one of those minutes.
Say a friend's name comes off her lips the way they'd like. Then his little act is finished, and that opens a whole season of Tuesdays for somebody I favor. I don't lift a finger for that. I don't have to. I built the room, and the room does the rest. You understand this. You always did. That's why I keep you on my short list of clean men. The ones I never had to ask twice. The ones I never had to ask at all.
He'd never once told her to lie. He didn't traffic in cash, and he didn't traffic in threats. The only coin on his table was her word, and the price of keeping it was the one thing she couldn't buy back, the microphone that fed her kids. I walked out past the civic seal thinking Paulie had finally built the perfect bracket, the kind where he never has to touch the knife himself.
A man can hide most things, friends, but never a cheap hat. The Meridian Hat Company has blocked fine felt for gentlemen since 1908. Rainproof, wind-steady, and shaped to keep your business under the brim where it belongs. Meridian, the hat that keeps its shape and yours. And now, the conclusion of Dead Air.
I found her a door. It took 2 days and a favor I'll be paying down till spring, but I found it. A line that was true and cost her friend nothing at all. A small door. Still a door. I brought it to her in the green room, where the radiator had died and nobody had bothered to tell it. She read it twice.
This is clever. It's even true. He did miss the January meeting. Everybody did. The roads were glass. I could sign this, and they'd call it a statement. And I'd keep my Tuesdays.
But you won't.
But they'd hang it on him. A true thing pointed the wrong way is still a knife. I've known that man 11 years. I sang at his wife's funeral. I won't spend him. Not a nickel, not a dime. Not to stay on the air, not to keep the lights burning.
You've got 2 kids counting on those lights.
You were going to say the children. I've said the children to myself every night this week. Every night the answer comes back the same. My kids can watch me go dark. They can't watch me sell a decent man to stay warm. That's not a thing you walk back from. Not for them, not for me. So I'll go dark. I settled it before I climbed your stairs. I only wanted to be sure there was no clean way through. There isn't. That's all right.
She said it the way you read back a figure you've already added twice. No heat in it, no tremor. She'd chosen the dark with her eyes wide open, and I sat there holding my clever little door, useless as a key to a house that had already burned to the sill. That left only the ugly question, whether a cost like hers could ever land anywhere but square on the one who earned it. I spent the last of my leverage the way you spend the last dry match in a wet field. I went to the station manager, and he found his own ceiling suddenly fascinating. I told Paulie I'd carry the whole arrangement to the Chronicle, print how a civic board decides who gets to eat. He was standing in the control booth watching the clock hand crawl toward 8, and he never turned his head.
Print it. Print what? Exactly. That a sponsor picks his own acts? They'll set it next to the church notices. There's no law says I gotta buy a minute off anybody. You know that better than most men alive.
One word from you and she keeps her spot. Nobody loses a thing.
Somebody always loses something, detective. That's what a bill is. She stays, my Tuesday act don't get his season. And that fella's got mouths at home too. You want me to pick which mother goes hungry tonight? I don't pick. The room picks. I only keep the lights on. It's 8. Listen.
On the far side of the glass, the Tuesday hour went out on time, smooth as poured milk. The way everything Paulie touched went out now. Somewhere down in that music was a comedy spot by a man who'd keep his job and never learn a woman had bought it for him with her whole good name. And in the small type of next week's bill in the slot where Marion Kell used to sit, there was already somebody else. Back at the office, the radiator was doing its finest impression of a corpse, and Dale was still at her desk, which meant she'd waited, which meant she already knew it had gone bad before I opened my mouth. I told her the whole of it, and then I reached out of an old bad habit for the moral. The weary little bow you tie on a case so you can shut it in a drawer and sleep.
Don't. Don't you dare file this one under the city never changes. I've watched you tie that bow 39 times, and tonight, I'm all out of nods for it.
It's only what the job is, Dale.
No. Here's what the job is. A year and a half back, you stood up and put your good name on a crooked man's deal so his handshake would pass for fair, and you called it the smart play. This woman got offered that same trade, her name for a warm room. And she said no, and she walked straight into the dark, and it cost her the kids' supper, and she'd do it again tomorrow before breakfast. You remember what I told you that winter? The night you took his leash and swore to me it was a favor? A leash only feels like a favor until the day it doesn't. Well, today's the day it doesn't. You just had to watch somebody braver refuse the collar to feel it on your own neck.
I'm the tired one. That's my whole reputation. And tired I can carry, tired a man can set down at the end of a night. This wasn't tired. It sat lower than that. Down where you keep the few things you'd hand back if the world ever took returns. Marion Kell was going to be a voice this city would never hear again. And in a cold office at 2 a.m, I found I could not stop hearing it.
The books never balance in Callaway Bay, sunshine. We just keep them anyway. Good night.
Next week, A Warm Room to Leave From. Endless Noir is a work of fiction. The scripts are written by artificial intelligence. The voices are professional voice clones from 11 Labs Voice Library.